Hey everybody, John with Owl, and today we're going to talk about a pedal control. Now this is one of the most popular items that we sell for sprinter vans, but it is now available for the Ineos Grenadier. Sorry for the loud bangs in the background, work is still going on. So a pedal control does some pretty cool things, and I'm going to jump into the office and kind of tell you more about it, but this is a pedal control for your Ineos Grenadier, and it daisy chains where your throttle is, and it's going to make your Grenadier that much zippier and that much more responsive. So first we're going to talk about how it works, and then we're going to show you how to put it in your rig.
We have moved inside because I want to talk a little bit about how the pedal control works. A lot of folks may be familiar with engine tuners, which actually remap the software of a motor. These work fantastically, but they also void your warranty. So that's something that people have been on the fence about, depending on their appetite for modifications. Now here's what's cool about the pedal control. There is more to how your vehicle responds and reacts than just the horsepower it has. The tires on a vehicle are essentially the final gearing. So when you have a smaller tire on a Grenadier and go to a larger tire, that vehicle is going to be less responsive, meaning if you have the throttle pedal and you push it down 30%, let's say, what's going to happen is you're going to feel a much faster and more rapid acceleration with a smaller wheel than you would with a smaller tire than you would with a larger tire. And that's because of the overall outside circumference. You're going to have more RPMs or revolutions per minute of a tire that is smaller than this. And so it's easier to spin this up. It is essentially like re-gearing your vehicle when you go to larger tires. So this is why the pedal control is something that's really going to make your vehicle more responsive and feel like it's accelerating more rapidly, even though we're not changing the engine tune at all and not messing with your warranty. So the way pedal control works is you've got your, I'm going to draw my throttle pedal here, okay? Amazing throttle pedal viewed from the side. And the way a throttle works is you push it down. Hopefully we all know this by now. You push it down when you reach kind of a maximum throttle. We'll call this 100%, or as other folks like to call, wide open throttle. Give it that watt. And so this is 100%. Now we don't all drive around flooring our Grenadiers, or at least we probably shouldn't if we have passengers that don't want to get sick. The way the pedal control works is this throttle has a wire, and that wire connects to the ECU, okay? And that ECU tells the engine, let's see how bad my drawing of an engine is. All right, we're going for a V8. All right, I know the Grenadier doesn't have a V8, but we drew a V8, okay? So this is the engine. This is the ECU. This sends a signal, depending on where the throttle is placed, as to what the ECU is supposed to do as far as adding fuel and air and so on to the vehicle, how much boost and all of these things. So what the pedal control does is the pedal control jumps right in here. It daisy chains. So instead of that path going straight, in fact, I'll pull you in a little closer here, a little bit better. Okay, so again, throttle, right? Throttle over here. This is your ECU, and this is where your pedal control that's where your pedal control fits in. So what it does is it has a wire that connects here and a wire that connects here. It's called a daisy chain, and it basically intercepts the signal that comes from this when you depress the accelerator. And let's say you depress the accelerator to 20%. Now I'm going to draw, we're going to get fancy, we're going to change colors. So this sends a signal for 20% throttle. What happens is that signal comes in here. That was the computer doing things. And then it comes out. And what the pedal control does is instead of this, when this is continuous, it sends a 20% throttle signal and that 20% throttle signal goes straight to the ECU. Pedal control takes in a 20% throttle input and sends to the ECU 30%. And the reason this makes your vehicle feel so much better is it's not just smoke and mirrors. What it's doing is it's saying you've pressed the throttle faster, more quickly, and so it's going to add more air, more fuel, and you're going to accelerate more quickly. Now, I know what you're immediately thinking. Why can't I just push the throttle down more quickly? Well, you could, except for the fact that if we go back to when we talk about those wheel and tire sizes, the engineers that make the vehicle don't want the vehicle to be too responsive, meaning a small input on the throttle, they don't want it to be really jerky and jerk you backwards. But once you have larger tires, what's going to happen is you're going to press, and the thing's going to slowly pull off, because what is responsive when the tires are small becomes unresponsive as the tires get larger and larger. And so what we're doing is we're tricking the ECU into a more snappy throttle response, and the entire vehicle is going to feel transformed. This is one of the products that we sell the most of, and people absolutely love it. The reviews on pedal controls are fantastic. If you are looking for an inexpensive way that is not an engine tune, so not that I'm against engine tunes by any means, we sell a ton of them, but some people are on the fence about engine tunes. If you want to just make your Grenadier more snappy, the pedal control is a fantastically cost-effective way to make your vehicle feel that much more responsive and that much zippier. Now I'm going to go back outside and show you how. But wait, I have to interrupt this video. I almost went back outside and I forgot to tell you about all the cool maps. So one of the coolest parts about the pedal control is it Bluetooths to an app on your phone. And that app on your phone has a couple of maps, we should call it. One map is actually anti-theft. So you can actually go into your phone and put in anti-theft, and what that does is it cuts off all throttle input to the ECU. So someone, theoretically, if you went biking, and this is what I love to do. In fact, I went mountain biking the other day and I hid my keys under the bumper of the Grenadier. So in those situations, I can hide my keys under the bumper of the Grenadier, go into my app, put it on theft mode, and somebody could find my keys, open my vehicle, try to start the Grenadier, and it would start, but it would not drive anywhere. You couldn't go in reverse, you couldn't go in forward, because this pedal control would be installed all in the background and nobody would know it exists, and they don't have the app to be able to take it out of theft mode. So that's one really nice touch with the pedal control. The second thing is you have configurable maps. And so you can set up eco mode. If you do eco mode, then it's gonna kind of flatten that acceleration curve a little bit and make sure that you are more fuel efficient, if you will. You have like a sport mode, which is going to be a much steeper line before it tapers off, so it's going to be much more snappy. And then you have custom mode, which on the sprinters I use all the time. And the custom mode is basically going to have like a curve like that. Let me make that a little bit thicker. A curve like that, and then you're going to have circles along it. And you can grab those circles and drag them up. So if I were to grab this one and drag it up, it would then, I drag that circle up there, it would then go like this and then like this. So it essentially allows you to custom tune the acceleration to how you would like it and how you like to drive. And you can easily bounce between the maps. If you're on a long road trip and you want to conserve some fuel, put it in eco mode. If you're driving around town, it's a lot of stop and go, stop signs, stoplights, and you want it to be a little bit zippier off the line, throw it into sport. So I originally, when I shot this, forgot to talk about this, and it's one of the coolest things with pedal control. So I want to make sure that I got that in there before we head out to the shop, which will happen now. We're back out at the Grenadier, and we're going to start taking things apart. Thankfully, my colleague has already taken all of the bolts out of this, so that much like a cooking show, I know y'all watch those on daytime TV, much like a cooking show, we are going to be able to take this apart much, much faster. So the way this works, as I mentioned inside, this daisy chain. So what it does is you're going to connect this in to the one end of the factory harness, and then you're going to connect this into another end of the factory harness, and then this is just going to kind of tuck away and Bluetooth to your phone. So the first thing we're going to remove is this panel up here. This is the panel popping tool, and you can get this at just about any automotive store. And we're going to start with this panel. It comes straight out towards you. All right. So this comes, as you can see, by the
clips, it comes straight out. You don't want to try to pry it towards the door or you could break something. Now down here there's a screw right there for this panel, and then this just pulls out. Once you remove that screw, you can just pull this out with your hands or use your tool, whatever you want to do. There's a little clip there you undo. Well, I guess you don't have to. It comes out of there pretty easy. And then there's another little... Okay. So this is now removed. That's just your little footwell light, and it looks like I forgot to mention there's another screw way over here. So when this is on, you've got two screws, one on the far left and one on the far right to remove this panel. So this part of the floor panel just pops straight up and comes out. Again, you can see clips on the bottom. Just lift it straight up. This front footwell pad has one bolt right here. Once that's removed, this can lift up enough to get this out. This also just presses in with clips, so you can kind of pry it straight out. Down in here in the middle, just on the bottom of the screen, is you can just take a screwdriver or a hex, and you just want to, or even your fingers, just unscrew this so that you're able to lift this floor piece out. Once you've unscrewed that, you can lift the floor piece out, and this goes around the pedal to remove this floor. Next, we're going to remove this panel here, which is, there's a bolt up here, which is right next to that bolt that we removed to get this lower panel off. Take that bolt, that hex off, and this pulls straight towards you. Just like the other panels, just has spring clips on it. And then you've got this kind of rubberized material here that just kind of peels back. So you've got the bolt down here, and then behind it on the top is the actual throttle cable. So I've removed this little tab that pushes on this spline right here to just kind of control the cable. If you remove that, you can get access here and you can see everything. What we're going to do is squeeze these tabs here and here and pull, and this is going to pop off. Once this is off, it may look familiar because now you've got your pedal control, and this is now going to interface with this. So you simply plug this in, and there's only one way that's going to fit. All right, it'll fit this way, it will not fit this way. And the way you can tell, one side is flat, one side is curved, one side is flat, one side is curved. Match up curve to curve, flat to flat. Press until it snaps. See these little edges? You want to make sure that those are snapped in. So that, do a quick pull test, that is snapped. Now this part of the daisy chain is going to go back to your throttle. So now we have this, and we're going to plug this back into that, and now we are plugged into the throttle. So we can take this pedal control, just kind of have it out of the way, and then what we're going to do is press this back onto that post, and then we're going to take this throttle and slide it back onto this metal tab. You want to make sure that this is not caught under the pedal. The throttle pedal should not pull towards you. You should be able to press it down in there, and that's where that bolt goes. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is route this cable. And so I'm going to pull this off of the post. There's a little post that this plastic thingy is on. Maybe it's better over here. There's a little post this plastic thing is on. I'm going to pull this off the post, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to tuck it up past that. And I want to get this all the way past, but behind that plastic. And then we can stick it all the way over here. And then you can use adhesive tape to just stick it to the back of this panel. Okay? And then your wire is totally out of the way, and we can reinstall everything just the same way that we took everything out. Now, before you reinstall everything, you want to make sure all your plugs are connected, and then you can test to make sure that everything is working. it.